Okay, hello and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on Thursday night. It's a little bit after 5 o'clock. I think I just traumatized my dog trying to be silly, but anyways, she'll shake it off. In fact, she can actually show us how to shake it off, probably a lot better than I can show you how to shake it off. So thank you once again for joining us. Tonight, what I thought we'd start to do is because so many people are stuck at home and not many people are getting outside the house, that we started to do a little bit more physical Qigong practices. So I'm going to be introducing you to some of Master Ni's teachings, which is referred to as the treasures. And so I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But I think it would be really good for everybody to just take a moment and be able to show their gratitude, for being able to be alive and breathing, obviously, and to be a part of a community of people that are interested in their internal emotional well-being, which ultimately helps their physical well-being, and then obviously, which is something I don't talk about that much, which is then your spiritual development. So thank you so much, because anybody that's on this Zoom live Qigong class tonight, we have one thing, and we have many things in common, but one of the cool things that we have in common is that we see the importance of these ancient practices and how they actually help to benefit our life and our overall well-being. And if you saw mine and Parisa's talk last Friday that we released on our little pep talk, one of the things that I said that's really, really, really important to do, and Parisa and I were talking about, is to laugh. It's really so important to laugh, and a belly laugh as well. You know, not just a superficial laugh, but really a belly laugh, and it's very contagious. Some of the feedback that we've gotten from people from around the world that saw this were telling us, like Chris and Parisa and P, when you guys started laughing like that, I couldn't help but to laugh myself. So to try to keep things lighthearted, these are serious times, yes, and you have to take proactive approaches, but not making it so serious that you actually create inflammation inside your body and you become frozen with fear. So one of the things we're going to do tonight is actually we're going to work with our kidney move and our kidney sound, because a lot of people, unfortunately, are kind of frozen with fear. So anyway, so what is the 8 treasures? Well, 8 treasures are kind of like a Tao Yin movements in meditation. It's a form of Qigong, developed by Master Weiji, and he's located, or was located, out of Los Angeles, California. Now his sons, Dr. Dao and Dr. Mao Xini, they actually run the Dao Wellness Center and Yosan University. And actually, Dr. Mao actually redid Master Ni's 8 Treasures videos, and he has a level 1, level 2, and level 3. So I'm just going to go through a couple of these very simple practices, because it really, the 8 Treasures is like I said, like a form of Tao Yin, which is like a Taoist yoga. And so we're combining the Qigong with some gentle moving and gentle stretching exercises. And in tonight's practice, one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to do a practice after we go through all of our Qi clearing exercises and our center and balance meditation. It's a practice called turning the stars and grabbing the Big Dipper. Okay, so very simple practice. What you'll notice is that you're going to notice my hand moving, but what's really happening is that I want you to pay attention to this weight transfer that's happening back and forth. Again, even though I'm stepping out with my foot forward in the forward position, I still want to be into my Wu Ji posture. So meaning that I want to have the sacrum still tucked underneath, pressing back the Ming Men, tip of the tongue still curled to the roof of the mouth, behind the teeth, as if saying the letter N, gently tucking the chin and pressing up on the crown point. Now what's going to happen here is that I want you to imagine, even though you're indoors, I want you to imagine how you're grabbing this energy from the 28 constellations. And we talk about the different seasons and how the different seasons actually affect the different internal organs of the body. When we've gone through the 5 cloud meditation, that also we talked about the 5 major planets that have influence on the body. We did one night in class, was referred to as the 5 direction meditation, or also referred to as the Wu Zong meditation, which relates to the 5 directions, north, south, east, and west, as well as the central location. So the cool thing about Chinese philosophy and Chinese medicine and Chinese astrology is that it's all based on one thing, and that is Qi. And we look at every single component when we look at health. And we look at the influences of the stars. We look at the influences of the directions. That's why it's so important that the direction of your house, or the proper arrangement of things in your environment. This is where feng shui comes in. And if you take my 5-element questionnaire quiz, which is in the back of my book, Qigong for Self-Refinement, you'll get an idea of what your primary typology is as well as what your weakest typology is. And then what's cool is then you could coordinate practices, Qigong practices, to help you keep within your typology. So for example, I'm a wood type, so that relates back to my liver and my gallbladder. So if I'm deficient, so before I used to be very deficient in the fire element, the heart energy. So simple feng shui practices that I did back in the day was I would put the head of my bed in the south, because the south direction relates to fire. Pyramid shapes, red pyramid shapes, I also connect to fire as well too. So I have those in my southern windowsill, my bedroom, and then guess what? It started to build up my energy for my heart. And one of the reasons why that my heart was so deficient is because I'd just gone through heartbreak. This before I met Parisa, my love, and then what happened was that you know, like anybody goes through heartbreak, or a lot of people, I was very closed off. So simple feng shui practices like that, as well as doing the heart move, the heart healing sound, actually help to build up that heart energy. So my primary typology being wood, so doing the liver move, making the liver sound, having the color green in my environment, having green plants in my environment. Live plants is better than fake plants, are also really good as well. So again, these practices I'm going to slowly start to introduce you to, along with our other Qigong practices, is to get the blood moving, to get the Qi moving, because your blood is your Qi. We have a saying that the blood contains the Qi, and the Qi moves the blood around the body. If you eat too much cheese, then that tends to slow the blood down. So we want Qi and less cheese. So what's going to happen with this is that I'm going to start off with, I'm going to put out my right foot out at a 45-degree angle. I'm going to step forward, and what's going to happen is, like I said, I'm going to rock back and forth like so. This is what's driving my hand in order to move. My sacrum is still tucked underneath. So I'm going to, my opposite hand is going to, like I'm grasping a bird's tail or grasping a stinky diaper, but if I was grasping a stinky diaper, it'd probably be like this as opposed to this. Okay, so I'm going to stand like this here. I'm going to bring this back to my Ning Men, okay? And then what's going to happen is that we're going to turn here like so. Again, I'm turning my waist as well as I'm shifting my weight back and forth, okay? Kind of like a baby would do on his hands and knees in the crib when they first learn how to crawl. Okay, so I'm gathering the starry energy, and then what's going to happen is that I'm going to pull this down through my crown chakra, through the crown point, all the way down to the center core of my being, down into the lower dantian. Okay, so I'm going here, okay, come back, here, come back, here, all right? And then what's going to happen is we're going to do the opposite side, again, gathering the stars and turning the Big Dipper. So I'm focusing on my Ming Men here, and I'm pulling this energy in through my center of my crown chakra, and I'm shifting forward, releasing that energy, coming back, so storing down into the lower dantian. So this practice is really good for harnessing divine energy and centeredness. And in fact, before we get started with tonight's practice, actually, Parisa is going to be reading a passage from one of Master Ni's books, The Tao, the Subtle Universal Law, and on consciousness. So this helps to bring us into our consciousness. Whatever your spiritual or religious belief structure is, this helps to only enhance whatever that is for you and your connection to God, to Source, the universe, whatever you want to call it. The other thing that it's doing too is I'm storing and I'm rooting that energy into my kidneys, into my lower dantian. And like I said in the opening, after my little skit with our dog, Lulu O'Malley Shelton, her full name is, after mine and Lulu's little skit, I was talking about how there's a lot of fear, and people are frozen in fear. Hence the saying when people say, well, I had a fight or flight kick in. And sometimes when people have the flight kick in, then what happens is they're seriously frozen. And there's seriously people frozen with fear right now. So I want to focus on pulling that energy into the kidneys, okay? Now, the next practice, one of the next practices that we're going to do here is to stimulate and open up the lungs. So please pay attention to tomorrow's video, because tomorrow's video I talk about actual, and I show and demonstrate actual physical things that you could do on your lung acupuncture meridian, like using Salin pause patches, liquid moxa, these kinds of things, because like I said before, your lungs are responsible for our Wei Qi, and this Wei Qi is what helps, having a strong Wei Qi helps us build up our immune system to ward off the intrusion of external pathogens, but also the intrusion of negative people too. So the thing also is that you want to try to be around and be supportive of people, but also be around people that are not going to be projecting a lot of this fear onto you. And that's one of my big things, is not being absorbed into somebody else's paradigm. And your paradigm, what my wish and goal for you is that your paradigm is that we're all okay, we're all healthy and safe. And that's my big wish, and mine and Priest's big wish for you. So tonight's practice, the other one we're going to do is going to open up the lung area, also the heart too. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to come here. I'm going to go ahead and place that opposite hand on the Ming Men again. Okay, so here. And then what's going to happen is that now if you have poor balance, it's okay. You don't have to go up on the balls of your feet. You could do this flat-footed if you want, because we don't want anybody to hurt themselves. But what's going to happen here is I'm going to pull in through the heart center here, and I'm going to open up. And notice how when I open up here, I'm really stimulating that lung acupuncture meridian. And like I said, pay attention to tomorrow's video that we're releasing an e-blast, because we're going to take a look at that acupuncture meridian, which comes down to here. So I'm connecting into the heart. I'm connected fire, which is connected to the heart. Water, which is connected into the Ming Men, into the kidneys, also the Ming Men referred to as the gate of life. So I'm combining the proper mixture of fire and water, which builds our chi. Then from here, I'm going to come up, and I'm going to look through the little hole, the little opening here, up, and I'm going to close the chest, open the chest, look through the little hole, okay? Again, if your balance is off, you don't have to roll up on the balls of your feet. Okay, but if you can do it, it really helps to build the blood up to the chest. So I'm going to open up here, and I'm going to close. We're then going to do the other side again. So here, rooting into the kidneys as well as into the heart center. And I'm going to pull down and then up here. Open up the chest, come down, open up the chest. Now you may notice it may get kind of warm doing this. I'm already getting hot doing this because this really helps to move the energy. Like I said, I think that's really important that we start incorporating other Qigong practices that really start to open up the acupuncture meridians, really gets the blood and the energy moving in the body. Okay, so a couple of brand new practices. I think for anybody who's been studying with me, I normally don't teach these practices, but in lieu of what's going on, I thought it'd be really cool to start to introduce them. So what's going to happen here is that I'm going to have Parisa read this introduction on consciousness, which is very profound. And from there, then we'll go ahead and go through our normal routine of the 3 chi clearing exercises, counter swinging, dropping the pose, shaking the tree, center and balance, meditation. And then from here, then what's going to happen is that we're going to warm up with the kidney exercise. And then from the kidney exercise, then we'll start to go into these new 8 treasure practices by Master Ni. So that's it. Master Pete is in the house.
Hi. Okay, so this passage is from Master Ni, Huaxing Ni, from the book Tao, the Subtle Universal Law, Chapter 8, The Integral Science of Ethics. He says, the values held by former generations seem artificial and meaningless to many people in present time. As a result, previously accepted codes of ethics have been discarded, and no new relevant and trustworthy guidelines have been introduced to fill the void created by their absence. We can really feel that today more than ever. Throughout most countries on earth, confusion and great disharmony are prevalent. Personal and social unrest demands a standard to live by which is relevant to contemporary life and in accordance with universal law. Human civilization seems to be at the peak of its development technologically, yet the fiber of most societies is crumbling, and the culturally created relative morality and artificial ethics are not a sufficient foundation upon which people may build their lives. We are limited in our ability to control our environment, especially now more than ever. The area in which we really can affect positive change in our life and in society is within the realm of consciousness. Our consciousness is a continually developing container in which the events of our lives are held and formed. Before one is born, one's mind is pure and formless. As the pressure of life shapes and structure our mind, they create rigid and distorted thought patterns. Here's the good news. In this way, we lose our ability to perceive and experience the reality of our lives. Actually, here is the good news. If one can reconstruct one's mind and restore its original, positive, and innocent quality, the events of one's life, which are in essence one's own mental projection and expression, will also be positive.
Wow. Thank you for that. Drop the mic. All right, with that said, I want you to find a comfortable position. You either start off in a seated or standing position, whatever feels comfortable for you. And if you're new joining us tonight and we start to go through the center and balance meditation and you notice that you're getting tired or whatnot, I want you to please sit down, not try to muscle through. This is an internal exercise for emotional wellness to increase the functionality of our internal organs, as well as give our emotional well-being a break and tools to actually work on things. So at any point in time you get tired, please sit down. And so find a comfortable position. Go ahead and turn off your telephone or unplug your phone, one or the other. And then from here, we're going to start off with our feet out, about shoulders width apart. Our knees are slightly bent. Toes are pointed straight ahead. Once again, I'm tucking that sacrum underneath, pressing back the Ming Man opposite the belly button. As I gently tuck the chin, I press up at the Bahui, which is also referred to as the crown point at the top of the head. I'm going to lightly squeeze the anal sphincter muscle. The tightness of the squeezing of the anal sphincter muscle is like the tightness of just gently closing your eyes. Okay, so don't want you to pull up too tightly on that. Tip of the tongue gently curls to the roof of the mouth behind the teeth as if saying the letter N. And just allow for your breath to be long, steady, even, and deep into the lower abdomen. Allowing the thoughts of the day to diminish. If you're in the seated Wuji, making sure that your hands are gently resting on the knees, either face down or face up. If you do face up, imagine an Gong points on the pericardium acupuncture meridian to pull in this divine energy as well as it's pulling in through the center of our crown chakra. So from here, the breath is long, steady, even, and deep, letting go the thoughts of the day. As I inhale, I'm going to feel myself becoming more calm. And then as I exhale, becoming more and more relaxed. Feeling more relaxed. In fact, our dog Lulu is feeling so relaxed I can hear her gently snoring in the background. So we want you relaxed, but not that relaxed right now. Okay, and then from here, we're going to begin by pulling down the heavens 3 times, inhaling. Setting your intentions for tonight's practice. What do you hope to get out of this? Inhaling. Setting your intentions for the planet. Setting the intentions for the well-being of all beings, because we are all interconnected. And then from here, we're going to lift the arms up, shoulder height, tossing the stone. So I'm going to shift, gazing at the palms of the hands, actually gazing at the fingertips. I'm going to imagine any dark, heavy energy leaving from the body like a dark cloud, going several feet away. And notice that I'm using my legs as a pump. I'm helping to pump that blood up to the chest, up to the heart. And if you watch any of my other videos or listen to me in class, all cervical or almost all cervical and frozen shoulder issues have to relate back to the heart. And right now there's a lot of stress in the environment. So if you wake up and notice that your shoulders are tight or there's a pinched nerve in the shoulder or in the neck, it might be due to the stress that's going on. We're just going to allow for any tension or discomfort for the fingertips to leave like a dark cloud, going several feet away from the body and deep into the ground. breath is long, steady, even, and deep, in through the nose, out through the nose. Able to regulate the flow of chi much better this way. And you can either close your eyes or you can have a very soft and focused gaze, gazing the tension and tightness leave. Feel yourself, feel your body. And then from here, I'm going to slow down, coming back to the middle, pulling down the heavens 3 times. Inhale and exhale. And inhaling and exhale. Feel the light come in, saturating the tissues as it comes in. You may see little purple, blue speckles of light coming. That's normal. And then from here, after I pull down the heavens 3 times, now I'm going to bring the feet a little bit closer together. I'm going to begin to lightly bounce, but I don't want this to be a calf building exercise, so don't lift your heels off the ground. I'm stimulating the bubbling well points on the kidney channel. So the bubbling well point is also referred to as kidney 1. This is where the kidney acupuncture meridian begins. Circles around the inside of the ankle bone, up the inner aspect of the legs. It actually communicates with the kidneys, and then it actually comes up here to the pubic bone, and then comes up to the clavicle, where then, it goes internally, connect with the ears. So with my eyes closed, I'm going to gently focus on the joints of the body, relaxing the hips, the knees, the ankles, the chest. First, placing your mind intent on the ankles and allow for any tension or tightness in the ankles to release out through the bottom of the feet like a dark cloud, running several feet away from the body, and deep into the ground. Next is the knees. Any pain, tension, or tightness in the knees, allow for that to release as well. Blow down as a dark cloud going several feet away from the body and deep into the ground. And from there, the hips, the back, the groin, if you have any low back pain, just allow for this to release as well. Got it out through the legs, out through the feet, and down deep into the earth. Next, the center of the back and chest. Especially opposite the heart on the spine and between the shoulder blades. If you have any tension or tightness there, making sure to allow for that to release. Or if you have any emotions that you know are affecting the heart, allow for that to release as well. Got it out through the legs, out through the feet, down deep into the ground. And next, the fingers, the wrists, and hands. Just gently shaking that out. So again, if any carpal tunnel pain, any pain in the joints and the fingers, allow for that to release out through the ends of the fingertips and flow down deep into the earth. Next, the elbows. Any pain in the elbows. Now focusing on the shoulders, the head and neck, allowing for all pain, tension, and tightness from the head, neck, and shoulders to flow out through the arms, out through the fingertips, and down deep into the ground. And then from there, we're going to stop bouncing. We're going to inhale, rolling up on the balls of the feet, pulling the golden light beyond the top of the head, and drop. Releasing out all toxicity deep into the ground. Inhaling all the way up. And releasing that out to all toxicity deep into the ground. 2 more. Inhaling. Imagine this golden light coming up and releasing out. 1 more. Inhale. And release. And then from here, stepping out. Feet out about shoulders width apart, shaking the tree. That's probably one of my favorite practices because especially right now, we have to shake it off. Inhaling and exhaling, releasing all that fear. Inhaling. Going from the place of being stuck and frozen to consciousness and conscious action and non-reaction. And 2 more. Inhaling. And last one. Inhaling. Releasing that down deep into the ground. Pulling down the heavens again 3 times. Inhale. And exhaling. Just allow for any excess heat or vibration in the body to release out. And exhale. And 3rd pull. And exhale. Pulling that down deep into the ground. And then once you pull down the heavens 3 times, relaxing into your Weiji posture. So go through the center and balance meditation. So whether you're going from a seated or standing posture, whatever feels comfortable for you. Now's the time to get situated if you want to take a seat. So once again, just gently relaxing, tip the tongue, still curl to the roof of the mouth behind the teeth, as if saying the letter N. The breath long, steady, even and deep into the lower abdomen, 1 inch below the belly button. Lightly squeeze the anal sphincter muscle. Tucking the chin, pressing up the crown point at the top. And from here, imagine the roots grow out from the bottom of the feet, entering down deep into the ground. Kind of like Garth Brooks' song, "Blame it all on my roots, I showed up in boots." Okay, I'll stick to teaching Qigong classes. And then from here, I want you to go ahead and focus on the front of the body. So starting at the crown point at the top of the head. Imagine warm oil that begins to melt down, enveloping everything that's in front of you, increasing your awareness of your body. Starting at the crown point, flowing through the forehead, through the temples, through the brow bone, eyebrows, and eyes. Through the nose, the cheeks, the side of the face, the front of the ears. Inch by inch, cell by cell, tissue by tissue, feel what's in front of you. Being present with the practice. As this warm oil flows from the base of the nose, it envelops the plethrum, the lips, the chin and jaw structure, flowing and pouring down into the neck and throat. Branching off into the upper chest and shoulders, flowing and pouring through the biceps, the elbow creases, the forearms, the wrists, the palms of the hands leading all the way out to the fingertips. Enveloping now the upper chest, the midsection, flanks of the body, flowing through the abdomen, from the abdomen into the waist, enveloping out the groin, the thighs, and now visualizing feel the knees, flowing through the shins, ankles, the top of the feet and toes, all connecting, all flowing off deep into the ground. And then from here, just take a moment to feel the entire front of your body from head to toe. Feel the left and right sides of the body. And expand now your awareness to fill up several feet in front of you, expanding that Weiji. Feel and expand several feet to the left and to the right. Next, feel now everything that's behind you. So once again, focusing on the crown point, governing vessel 20 at the top of the head. Imagine warm oil that begins to melt down through the scalp, touching every hair follicle, every cell, every tissue. Flowing behind the ears, you feel behind the ears. From behind the head to the base of the skull and to the neck, relaxing the neck and shoulders. Flowing through the triceps and the elbows, and the back of the forearms. The wrists, the back of the hands, leading all the way out to the fingertips. The upper back, the bitten back. Flowing through the low back, through the waist and buttocks, enveloping now the hamstrings and the back of the knees, the calves, the ankles, the heels. All connecting, and allow for this warm oil to flow down deep into the ground. And now take a moment to feel what's behind you, feeling everything head to toe. And expand your awareness to feel several feet behind you. You now feel several feet above you. What is going on above you? Can you feel the texture of the ceiling above you? The temperature? Several feet below you. What is the temperature of the earth below you? And now connecting with yourself, with your higher self, allow for the divine energy to illuminate your senses of what's inside of you, so you visualize and feel your brain, the surrounding tissues and skull, to the space between the brain and the skull. You visualize the pineal gland, pituitary. You now visualize and feel the left and right hemispheres of the brain. The bones of the face, the eyes, the nerves that connect from behind the eyes to the center of the brain. You feel and visualize the brain stem. This white light now touches and saturates the sinus cavity. Feel every blood vessel, every cell, every tissue. As you flow down into the inner ear, you now visualize and feel the inner ear. Connected to the kidneys, we now flow into the upper palate of the mouth, the teeth, the gums, the tongue, the lower palate. Traveling down now through from the base of the skull down through the center of the neck and throat. This white light envelops the arteries that nurture our brain. Fills up into the air passageway, each vertebra of the neck. You feel and visualize your thyroid at the base of the throat. Now visualizing and feeling as this white light branches off into the upper chest, back, and shoulders. Through the center of the biceps, triceps, you feel the muscles, the arteries. Center of the elbows, the center of the forearms, the wrists, the palms of the hands, leading all the way out to the fingertips. And then from here, touching every rib, feels the ribs wrap around to the spine on the back. You feel the heart and the pulsating rhythm, pericardium. The lungs fill up with white light. You feel the bronchial tubes fill up with white light. Clear, vibrant, strong. You feel the liver and gallbladder fill up with white light. Your stomach, spleen, and pancreas fills up with white light. The colon, the intestines, large, small intestine. The kidneys on the low back, you feel the adrenal system, the adrenal glands that rest on top of your kidneys. Flowing down, you feel the bladder, the pubic bone, the pelvis, the sacrum, the bones of the legs, the muscles surrounding them, the knees, the center of the shins and calves, ankles, feet and toes, all connecting, all flowing off deep into the ground. And from there, just imagine the feet melting into the earth. And from those roots that are connected down to the center core of the earth, we're going to imagine as we gather this golden energy from the earth, up the roots, up the legs, into the visceral cavity as we inhale, and as we exhale, releasing out any toxicity from the organs. Whether it's negative emotions that affect the internal organs, or maybe foods that we've been eating or drinking that are not healthy for us, allow for that toxicity to leave out through the bottom of the feet. And if you want, you could use your hands, like I'm doing, to help to visually guide that energy up into where your organs rest and lie. Inhaling, and also using your legs as a pump to help to pump that energy up to the chest. And exhaling. Inhale. And exhale. Feel the golden light. Feel your toes grab the earth as it pulls up this golden light, nurturing all the internal organs. And then as you exhale, the Mother Earth receiving and recycling the toxicity, helping to cleanse your body. Inhaling and exhaling. And then on the next inhalation, we're going to go directly into the microcosmic orbit meditation. So allowing for the energy to race straight up the spine, over the top of the head, down the front of the face, the chest, the abdomen. Once again, using the legs as a pump. As this energy races up the tailbone, up the spine, over the top of the head, stimulating the central nervous system as well as the brain as this energy comes around, flows through the reproductive system, and then like a pump, pumping up the spine, up over the top of the head, down the front of the face, the chest, the abdomen. Allowing for the imagination to lead the mind, and the mind to lead the smooth flow of the chi. And exhaling. Inhale. And exhale. Gathering up the spine, up over the top of the head, down the front of the face, the chest, the abdomen. Opening up the governing and conception channels of the body. Feeling the energy. And then from there, just allow for that energy, making sure it descends down into the lower dantian. Finish it off by pulling down the heavens 3 times, inhaling. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Gather. And exhale. Next, going into the kidney move. Now what we want to do is we want to roll the tongue to the soft palate, roll it all the way back on the roof of the mouth, stimulating the water aspect of the kidneys, and connecting to the internal acupuncture meridian for the kidneys. So I'm placing my left hand on my right kidney, and then I'm going to go ahead and bend at the waist, like I'm scooping up water, inhaling up, and exhaling. Inhaling up. Exhaling. So kidneys working with fear, fright, and shock, dealing and connecting with the water element. So imagine a blue cloud filling up into the kidneys, planet Mercury connecting to the kidneys. Just imagine the planet Mercury, the blue haze around the planet, further connecting and strengthening our kidneys, our fountain of youth. The northern direction of the black turtle or the blue turtle connecting into the kidneys, further reinforcing and strengthening those kidneys. And if there's anything that's causing fear, this whole pandemic has created fear and uncertainty for you. As you do the movement, I want you to inhale, feel that blue cloud saturate into the kidney network. And then as you exhale, imagine that fear leaving like a dark cloud, going several feet away from the body and deep into the ground. Inhale And exhale, making sure it's still to keep the tip of the tongue rolled back all the way out on the soft palate, connecting the internal acupuncture meridian for the kidneys. You may notice that you create more saliva doing this. Once again, relating back to this water element. The sound of foo relates to the kidney. So if you want to make the foo sound, inhale, hold the breath in, then as you exhale. Bring forth willpower, kindness, gentleness. When I come to the top, I'm going to switch, now going the opposite direction. Still imagine as I inhale on the upturn, that this blue cloud fills up into the kidneys. Feel the connection with the planet Mercury. Feel the connection with the northern stars, the northern direction of the blue turtle. Tortoise in traditional Chinese medicine and Chinese philosophy represented both yin and yang. The bottom of the shell, the flat part, represented the earth, and the dome, the top of the shell, represented heaven. It was a lot of times used in divination practices. If you look at a tortoise and how long they live, longevity, say that they have a strong gene of life. So we want to nurture that gene of life. Inhale and exhale. Allow the fear to leave. And once again, if you want to add in healing sound, come around, imagine that the blue cloud fills up into the kidney network as you exhale. Come back here, and we're just going to place our hands on the kidneys, just going to gently rub with gentle fists or knuckles, stimulating those kidneys, warming those kidneys. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bring the hands together. We're going to rub the hands together vigorously, creating heat between both of the palms. And because the ears are connected directly to the kidneys, we're going to inhale and pull the heat from the palms through the ears down into the kidneys. Again, so increase the heat. And then as we place the palms of the hands over the ears, we're going to inhale, holding the breath, the warmth all the way down to the kidneys. And 2 more. Exhale into kidneys. Last one. Feel the heat. I'm already feeling my whole body get hot just from doing this practice. From here, feel the warmth come in. Bring the warmth all the way down to the kidneys. And then from here, we're going to pull down the heavens 3 times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last breath, inhale. And exhale. Yeah, Lulu liked that kidney move, didn't you? It feels so good for you too, right? It feels so good. Okay. So gathering the stars and turning the Big Dipper, I'm going to turn my foot out 45 degrees. So in this case here, facing the camera, I guess you would say it'd be my left foot, but it's actually my right. It doesn't matter which side you start on. My hand, like I'm grasping a bird's tail, is going to the Ming Men opposite the belly button, okay? And then what's going to happen is that I'm going to step forward. And when I step forward here, I'm going to circulate. I want to imagine that I'm collecting heaven's dew. I'm collecting the starry energy, the starry particles from all directions, invigorating a response from the subtle universal realms to strengthen our body. Coming around, relax the shoulder. The key here too is to relax that shoulder and use your legs as the pump. We should be moving that blood. We should move those legs, move those hips. And then from here, we're going to come around, pulling down as I sink into the back leg, all the way through the thumb point, the crown chakra, all the way through the center core of light, also referred to as the Tai Chi pull, and release. Inhale, all the way down to the lower dantian. Exhale, through the nose, inhale. And exhale, so 2 more, inhale. And release. Just feel that white light from the divine starry energy coming in. And then from here, same thing. Now the opposite side, I'm going to gather the stars and turn the Big Dipper. Relax that shoulder. Once again, this is a very basic Tai Chi principle. I need to move my legs and my trunk in order to move the arm. So I'm imagining that I'm stirring the subtle universal light rays from the stars, the starry particles, help to heal our body. And then from here, I'm going to coil, come back through the crown chakra, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. And exhale. Feel the white light come in. Feel the cells get saturated. Let's do one more with the starry energy. Okay, so now I'm going to face the other direction just to show you what it looks like from behind. And now I have my left leg forward here. Once again, gathering the stars, turning the Big Dipper, relax that shoulder. Otherwise your shoulder will feel like it's going to fall off here. And just imagine that starry energy is enveloping around my fingers, around the palms, increasing my power, longevity, increasing my consciousness, being focused on the practice. Opposite hand to the Ming Men in between the left and the right kidneys. Now I'm going to pull as I come back into the back leg. And exhale. And exhale. Again. And exhale. feel and imagine the white light flowing through the center line of through the center of your being, also referred to as the Tai Chi pole, flowing through the upper dantian, the middle dantian, all the way down to the lower dantian. Let's do one more. Step, turning the stars, gathering the victim, grabbing that starry energy. Once again, shifting my weight back and forth, turning my hips, keeping that sacrum tucked underneath, pressing back at Ming Men. And then from here, pull it in, sinking into the back leg, pull that divine starry dantian, release. Storing it into the lower dantian. Inhale. And release. In. And release. Two more. In. And release. In. And release. Okay, then from here, pulling down the heavens 3 times. Just allow for any excess heat or vibration to settle out. Inhale. And exhale. Gather. And release. Okay, once again, hand come back to the Ming Men here. Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to connect the water element with our fire element, also stimulating out here, not only the heart acupuncture meridian, but also through the lung channel too. So I'm going to sink, grabbing the fingers together, connecting all of the channels, and open, trying to look out through that hand, open up that chest. Inhale, and exhale. Feel the stretch, rolling up on the balls of the feet. Inhale. Again. Opening up that chest, that lung meridian. Good. Okay, now we're going to switch. Now we're going to do the opposite side. So again, grabbing hand, the opposite hand to the Ming Men again. Now I'm going to grab, once again, combining my fire and water element. So I sink down and open the chest. And close the chest. And open. And close. And open. And close. Open. 2 more. And again. And close. Okay, let's do that one more time on the opposite side, right? We're going to harmonize both the yin and yang aspects, or left and right. Open. And close. Open up that lung channel. Close. Two more. Last one. Good. Switch. Stirring up the yang energy, increasing the vital yang force energy. So feel the heat in the blood moving, pushing out any toxins in the body. Two more. Last one. Very good. All right. And then And closing off our practice by blowing down the heavens 3 times. Last time, inhale. Once again, pulling down for our higher selves, God, the universe, the Tao, our higher consciousness. Second pull for this planet Earth, nurturing this planet that supports all life. All beings are equally as important. Third pull for human compassion and kindness towards one another. And once I pull down the heavens 3 times, I'm going to go ahead and place the hands over the lower dantian. For men, you can place the right hand over the left. For women, the left hand over the right. As I inhale, I'm going to imagine a white mystical pearl that forms underneath the hands, gathering the energy from the space around me. As I exhale, I'm going to imagine that this white pearl restores the vitality of the kidneys on the low back opposite the belly button. Once again, strengthening these kidneys. Inhale. Dantian expands. Exhale. Feel the warmth fill up into the kidneys. Again, inhale. And exhale into the kidneys. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Feel that warmth. Feel that light. Strengthen those kidneys. Feel my kidneys becoming alive, vibrating. Last one. And exhale. Okay, and then from there, slowly shaking out your feet, open up your eyes, shaking out your hands. So is there any questions on anything that we did tonight? You should feel very invigorated right now. We did more of these yang type of practices, but also harnessing and really nurturing that kidney chi. Kidney chi, once again, is important because it helps to strengthen the rest of the body. It's the foundation of the yin and the yang aspect of the rest of the body. So is there any questions out there before we sign off?
If we're doing more exercises, do we have to pull down the heavens more to make sure the chi doesn't get stuck up in the head or something?
Yes, so she asks is that, do we have to pull down the heavens more to make sure that the chi doesn't get stuck out? Especially with that microcosmic orbit meditation, it's very important to make sure that sometimes to make sure that you pull down the heavens more, but also you could brush too. You also brush it and pull it down. So if you notice, maybe oh, I think I got something stuck. I think I have a little bit of a headache from this or whatnot. But yes, please, by all means, brush, pull down the heavens more until you feel that this energy then releases itself. Mm-hmm.
Jamie is asking, can you show Chris's legs when he does the lasso and starry night move?
Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay.
1, 2, cha cha cha.
So that's salsa. That's salsa. Okay.
Wrong move.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No,
Okay.
be serious.
All right, I'll be serious.
Okay, wait. Turn over. No.
Turn over.
Okay, go.
Okay, bend over. Turn over. Okay, so from here, when I'm gathering the stars and turning the Big Dipper, I'm not only moving this way, but I'm moving my navel and my kidney this way. So if you imagine you had a dowel that went all the way through the belly button through the Ming Men, this is turning too. So watch. I'm going to slow it down. You can also place your hands here, but it's better if you put on the Ming Men look. So I'm not only moving forward and back, I'm also moving that dantian, moving the navel. So I'm doing 2 things at once.
And then when you actually switch your feet over, how does that look?
So when I switch my feet over, again,
one back,
and make sure, so I'm going to face the camera this time, make sure that the 1 foot that's behind is at a 45-degree angle. And the reason for this is that we want to make sure that our knee is in proper alignment with that toe. We don't want to injure the knee, so it's important to do that. So again, I'm going to shift back and forth, but look, I'm also turning those hips. And believe it or not, by turning the hips like this and moving the hands, this is what controls my arm.
Lulu, out of the way.
This is what controls. So this is what's moving my arm. My arm is not independent from the rest of the body. So it's a very basic Tai Chi principle. Everything is connected together. Okay, so even when I come back here, I sink back, so, right, I pull back. See how my navel then turns also as I come out. Come back, sink back, my navel's this way, and then as I release, look, the navel comes out, or the direction of the navel. Hopefully your navel does not come out. That's called a chi deviation, and that'll be a later discussion. Okay, all right, good question. Anybody else?
I think Tom
I
had a
have-
question.
Tom?
Oh, Aaron, go ahead.
My question is that you're focusing on the kidneys because of the fear that's in the kidneys, and then also you were mentioning the fire and the water mixing, and then the other detail I noticed that you were mentioning throughout the class was the lungs. So can you define the reason that you're focusing on those three elements as to the other two?
So the proper first of all, the first question is the proper mixture of fire and water is how the steam is produced, which is the chi that circulates around the body. So there has to be a proper regulation of fire, water. If you were to look at the I Ching, for example, the Book of Change and Unchanging Truth, there's a hexagram for fire and the hexagram for water. And actually, because fire tends to blaze upwards, then we see things like hypertension, bloodshot eyes, maybe headaches, dizziness, those types of things. In that formation, actually, the water element is on top of the fire. Why? Because that's the mutual consumption of each other. That's a proper balance of yin and yang, because water descends. If you think about it, water always takes the lowest position, and fire ascends. And so what we're doing here is that we're combining the proper balance between fire and water, because if there's too much fire, then we have manic episodes, we have hypertension, blood pressure issues. If there's too much water, we could have things like edema. We could also have heart conditions as well too, or swelling of the hands and such. So it's really important, because right now there's all this mania going on. There's all this manic, energy that's happening, because like what Parisa was describing when she was reading Master Ni's passage from the Tao, the universal law, or subtle universal law. You talk about this consciousness. Unfortunately, a lot of us are getting stuck in this global unconsciousness, and so that's the reason I want to root the chi, strengthen the chi, but calm the heart. Now the lungs, and okay, so going back to just the kidneys themselves, like focusing on the Ming Men, the kidneys are your foundation of life. They are the foundation of yin and yang of the body, so it's very imperative to nurture those kidneys. You want to keep those kidneys warm, because if you read my book or watched some of my other videos, you see how I talk about the kidneys dislike cold. This pathogen that's harming so many people, in Chinese medicine is considered a damp, cold condition. And so what's really bad right now is, or making it worse, is that the environment outside is cold and it's been damp, at least in Northern California. I know in Southern California also it was rainy and cold too. I don't know what it was like today, but most of the state for the past week has been damp and cold, and this virus is thriving off of that. So I want to warm the kidney, I want to warm the yang aspect, I want to push out the cold. And the kidneys and the lungs also work together, because when you inhale, your kidneys have to grab the air from the lungs to pull the air all the way down. When you exhale, then the lungs then do their part and pulls the moisture, the water, so to speak, to moisten the lungs, and then also moistens the space between the skin and the muscles. So there's this chemistry that happens between both of those organs. And right now, besides fear and anxiety and mania that's going on, there's also grief too, because people are, we were talking about this in the Qigong teacher training video that we did on Monday. Some people, unfortunately, young people, are coming to us and saying, Chris and Parisa, like, I'm watching all this stuff on the news. I want to die. Like, if I don't want to have to suffer this virus killing me. And so there's grief surrounding it. So people are, there's more people talking or thinking about suicides, because also too, we're people of community. And that's what we're so thankful that you guys are joining us as well too, is because we're creatures of community. And this idea that we have to be isolated right now is really hard, because we need to be around other people. We feel the love, we feel the energy from other people. And being isolated like this is really hard on us. So, and then also being stuck indoors, if you're stuck indoors, and then if it's gray and cloudy, people are not getting the vitamin D that they need. They're not getting the nutrients from the energy from the environment. And this also weakens the lungs qi. And if you have a heater in your house, yes, we want to keep your house warm and stuff, but the problem with the heater too is that it could dry out the lungs. So it's important that we do these lung exercises and stuff to keep the lungs strong. We want to keep the cold out of the lungs, so it's very, very, very important.
Can you just show us real quick the front hand position of the last posture? That's a question from Patrick K.
So the last posture, hand position, once again, it's like you're grasping a bird's tail. There's actually a meditation called the 5-palm meditation. And the 5-palm meditation is connecting the different acupuncture meridians of the body. If you guys are interested, this is a more advanced practice. Later on, I could teach this practice. But anyway, so I'm gathering all the energy. And then from here, what's happening is that I'm honing that chi into the heart center. And I'm closing. Notice how I close and open. Tai Chi principle number 2 is another principle as well. Not necessarily number 2, but this idea of closing and opening. Yin and Yang, right? See that? Yin, I close, I contract. Yang, I expand. So I'm not only am I subtly focusing on this heart center and stimulating out the lung itself, but what I'm doing is that I'm combining the yin and yang aspect of my being by closing, yin, contraction, yang, I then open. So again, note, I'm going to stand to the side here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but when I stand up on my balls, my feet like this, look at it. I'm doing this, look at it, with my chest. I'm moving that arm back. I want to stimulate that lung channel. So again, I close, gathering the yin, and then I open, gathering the yang, open it up, okay? I close, gather the yin, and then here, gather the yang, okay? Yin and yang is in constant flux and change, and one is not more important than the other. So we want to combine both together. Tonight's practices that are introducing you to from Master Ni and Dr. Mao Xing Ni is really to stimulate things more because people are not moving that much. And so my recommendation too is, please move. Our friend Eric, the trainer in Hollywood, he has a whole schedule, and if you guys are interested, you go to their website, log on or onto Facebook, and do a workout with him. And
every day at 1 and 3.
1 and 3, every day at 1 and 3 with him and all these other celebrities and people around the world. Next week, I'm going to actually, we're coordinating a time where I'm going to be giving Qigong tips through the workout routine. So we'll let you guys know about that too. Okay, so another question.
One more question from
Okay.
Tom.
Okay, hey Tom.
Oh, thank you for doing it for me. Can you hear me, Chris?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. First of all, thank you. And I had an interesting experience today. I was in Costco, and a guy a little bit heavier and taller than I bumped into me by accident. But Chris, my body froze. It was like I was repelled away from him. And just, I've never experienced that before. And immediately my mind went to the red phoenix and the white tiger and the blue turtle and the green dragon and the golden phoenix. And that happened early this morning. But so my question is, there was an energy transfer of something, and I still can't get rid of it. So how do I deal with that?
Okay, so I would recommend shaking that off. I'd recommend really look at what that did for you. What did it stir up for you? Did it stir up fear for you? Did it stir up anger for you? Did it stir up worry? What emotions did it stir? So I would try to journal this out to see what emotions stirred, because unfortunately right now, like I said, there's this unconsciousness happening because of the fear, right? And you might have just picked up on some of his own stuff. In fact, I'm just going to give you guys a heads up. Next week's video, so tomorrow's video, please check it out. It's going to be more on the lungs and things you could do to stimulate the lungs. But next week's video, I'm actually doing it on hate, because unfortunately,
On love.
no, I'm doing it on hate because I have to address this as very serious to me. Most of my friends are Asian, whether they're Vietnamese, Filipino, or Chinese or Japanese American, and there's this hate that's going around, and so we're going to take a look at that and then and really look at deeper. So Next week, I'm going to be a little bit more serious. I won't be coming out with the dog singing because this is a very serious matter to me. And so I feel that it has to be addressed. So yeah, Tom, I would recommend journaling it out and seeing what emotion or emotions came up for you. And then also really shaking it off. Also remember brushing those meridians, right? Remember brushing too is very important too, to get that energy off that person off of you as well. So.
Okay, one more question. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, from Sherry.
Hi, Sherry.
Our Morning Crane affiliate #1. She is asking, should we increase our practice time during this quarantine?
Yes, of course. You know, what's interesting is that, so the question was, should we be increasing our practice during this quarantine? And yes, because, you know, what's interesting is that, like, if you have cancer in China, in like the Beijing hospital, they put you in a support group like in Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict, you have to work a program because you have to be around other alcoholics to really understand your disease. And nobody else better can understand your disease than a fellow alcoholic that's in recovery. Same thing with cancer. So the difference in China, though, is that they put you, if you have cancer, they put you, or specific illnesses, they put you into a group with other people with cancer. So that way you have this connection, right? You have this understanding. They give you an herbal regimen, they give you a dietary regimen, and the Qigong regimen is not just 10 or 15 minutes a day, it's hours a day. So if you really want to build your immune system and you really want to increase your centeredness, as long as whatever time you have, you know, and you have to build up, it's like a workout routine, right? You can't just go out there and, you know, bench press 400 pounds if you've never done a bench press before. These are internal practices. It will take you a while to build up to an hour to 2 hours. But my recommendation is that, yes, read spiritual books, read whatever your religious study is. I would study those, stay in your spiritual practice, have a physical workout routine to get the blood moving and such. And then, but yes, spend a lot of time on your Qigong, because why not? It's only going to help to build and strengthen your immune system. And also, once again, it's only going to help to build your physical state as well as your spiritual and religious studies, whatever that is for you. Is that it?
Yeah, we just have some comments. Heather is saying Reiki could really help with Tom's energy. Heather is a master Reiki practitioner.
Oh, yes.
Practicing here at Morning Crane. Mm-hmm. And then we got a thank you from Brooks. Thank you, R. Brooks. And Sherry Davis, do Qigong first before workout, right?
Yes, do the Qigong, because you don't want your energy to be all scattered.
Then you'll be like Rocky.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we are way over time.
Thank you once again, everybody. And yes, Heather Tell, she is a new practitioner here at Morning Crane, Reiki master. So if you want some Reiki sessions with Heather, please, we're actually going to put on the e-blast tomorrow, her contact information. So check her out. Please share this with other people. It looks like, from what I understand, we're going to be under quarantine for quite some time. So we're going to keep these classes going because we have to we want to keep the energy up. We want to keep everybody's energy up, and the community. I want to keep the community growing as well too. So please share this with your friends. Please share the videos that we've been having, like the one we're releasing tomorrow, the one that Chris and I did last week, and especially the one the week before where I gave actual herbal remedies to stop and prevent the cold and flu. And so thank you so much. We are so grateful to be able to serve our community, and reach out if you have any questions. And until next time, I will cheat you later.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bye.